bad week for the government. Everybody knew there would be problems, but in the last few days, much of that damage appears to be self-inflicted. The latest and the most serious being the resignation of Junior Minister Roisin Shortall. Donogh reports on the coalition's worst week so far.
Only a few short months ago, the world was full of possibilities for Eamon Gilmore. Now, not so much.
Well, first of all, I regret and I'm disappointed by her resignation. Roisin was an outstanding public representative and a very valued colleague.
This is a disaster for the attempts to get out of debt and particularly to rescue the pillar banks.
But having promised reductions in the allowances bill of €75 million, less than €4 million in cuts to public sector allowances will actually be realised.
This truly was an awful week for the government. It lost a high-profile junior minister who seemed to quit for the dangerously honourable reason of not being permitted to implement policy. Only the previous day, three of the most powerful finance ministers in Europe suggested that they had no intention of taking Ireland's bank debt on their broad shoulders. And only a few days before that, the government's ministerial spending watchdog seemed to be told to take a running jump by his colleagues.
I think the only good thing you can say about this spat between the two ministers in the Department of Health is that it has deflected attention from the German Minister for Finance and two fellow ministers and what they were proposing about Ireland's bank debt deal. That is potentially hugely damaging.
My view of how we deal with the economy, the kind of budget we should deliver, what we might do with the health service is a world away from what this government is pursuing. That's one issue, but there is the other issue of competence, and even if you take that on its own, you see that they fall very far short.
It was definitely not our best week. I mean, to lose a minister like Roisin Shortall, who is so admired by the parliamentary party and by the grassroots members of the party, is certainly something that I regret and the party regrets. But it's something that we're going to have to move on from, and I think, keep moving all the time.
Most worryingly for the Labour Party, Roisin Shortall has made clear that the politician who finally pushed her into resigning wasn't James Riley, but was her own leader, Eamon Gilmore, who appeared to conspicuously fail to support her.
When Mr Gilmore spoke from Brussels, he spoke to reporters in Brussels, and he came out very, very strongly in support of the Minister for Health, James Riley. And the only interpretation that Roisin Shortall could take from that was that her leader was siding with a Fine Gael minister against her. And I think that was kind of the last straw for Roisin Shortall.
He says that, from what I can see, from the very moment that this difference between herself and Minister Riley rose to Donogh, there was very much fulsome in his support.
The immediate focus this week has, of course, been on the divisions between Fine Gael and the Labour Party. However, this saga may have exposed a much more serious division for the future stability of the government. And that is the chasm that seems to exist between the pragmatic veteran leadership of the Labour Party and some of its more idealistic backbenchers, who may be far more representative of the party rank and file.
Well, I think there is an old guard within the Labour Party, if I can use that term, that simply wanted to be in government and that is determined to stay in government whatever the cost. I think, no matter that they will shred up their pre-election promises, no matter that they will disappoint the very people that put them in government, I think that is their intention.
This is the sort of stage that politicians like to be performing on, speaking to their fellow statesmen about the great affairs of global geopolitics. But there is a severe danger that the Minister for Foreign Affairs' speech on Syria to the UN General Assembly tomorrow doesn't look at all statesmanlike when viewed from Dublin, but rather as slightly incongruous, out of touch, fiddling in New York, while his government is at least badly singed.